Hi, I'm Coach Bev, and I'm coming to you from Regal Awakening Educational Coaching Services. I coach you as you coach your kids into obtaining their goals using the knowledge and skills I have gained as a parent and veteran educator. Today, we are going to talk about the topic favoritism between your kids. I hate favoritism. It builds one child up while simultaneously tearing down the other. It makes one feel a false sense of security, but fosters low self esteem in the other. It teaches life's hard lessons early to one, while at the same time sheltering the other. It wraps one child in an embrace while leaving the other child in the cold. It ensures the fate of one and deteriorates the passion of the other. It constantly chooses one and leaves the other marginalized. It lets one child come in and leaves the other one outside. So, needless to say, I feel very strongly about parents having favoritism with their children. Having my kids to say that to me, Mom, this one is your favorite, has always been one of my greatest fears as a parent. I experienced favoritism as a child, and unfortunately, I was on the wrong side of it. It made me great. I rise in the face of challenges. But for some kids, it does the complete opposite because you don't know what a person is made of, and you will never know how they are affected until it is too late to change it. Having a favorite isn't a hard thing to do. Each child is different and possesses their own personality and characteristics. The traits that you relate to the most is what draws a parent closer to one child in particular. Maybe that child likes to be under one parent more than the other parent. Maybe that child has an old soul and the parent can relate to them really well. Whatever the reason, it is not hard for parents to sometimes choose a favorite. And it's usually done without thought of the repercussions that can ensue. Favoritism has lifelong consequences and will shape the lives of children that have felt its effect. On both sides, and regardless of which side the child is on, one child can end up turning out better than the other. And even though the parent may think that they're setting their favorite child up for success, it can actually have the opposite effect. One would think that by doing things for the favorite child that they are preparing them, but in fact, what they are doing is hindering them, teaching them that the world owes them something. Meanwhile, the opposite child has to get it out the mud and learn how to survive in a cruel world all on their own. Or it could be the opposite. The favorite child gets all of the advantages and therefore goes far, and the opposite child gets nothing and has a slow start or doesn't even start at all. I have a few things that I would like to discuss that parents can do when they feel that they may be in danger of having one child as a favorite while marginalizing the other child. The first thing that a parent can do when they start to experience favoritism is when situations arise, seek what's right instead of seeking a side. So basically how this works, if there's a situation going on between the favorite child and the opposite children or child, the parent may sometimes come in and instead of trying to distinguish the situation, they may immediately just jump on the side of their favorite child. This, over a period of time, will become increasingly visible and apparent to the opposite child, and it will start to cause resentment, and it could result in disrespect that the child feels towards the parent. That's why it is important that in certain situations that we as parents seek what's right instead of seeking to pick a side to stand on. The second thing that parents can do when they find themselves struggling with favoritism is make sure that you are dispersing the affection equally amongst all of the kids. Sometimes when you have a favorite child, we tend to shower more affection on that favorite child more than the other child. This can result in so many different emotions in the opposite child. The opposite child may feel unwanted, unloved, their self esteem may be affected. It can affect how they deal in future relationships. They may decide to settle for someone that doesn't necessarily show them affection. We have to be mindful that as parents, everything that we do is modeling for our children's the future and how they're going to interact and behave with others. So if we as the parents teach our kids that they're not going to be loved in a certain type of way, that's the type of love that they are going to seek when they are out there as adults. So it is very important that we are kissing and hugging and loving on our children all at the same rate. It may not be at the same time, but we must ensure that our children know and understand that we love them. The third thing that a parent can do when they find themselves struggling with favoritism is listen to your kids if they tell you that they think that you are showing favoritism. It may be an immediate response to immediately just jump on the defensive and not really hear the child out. Instead of being defensive, we could say, why do you feel that way? What am I doing to make you think that I favor this child more than I favor you? Because once the child gets frustrated, they are going to feel emboldened and have a desire to express to you their feelings and their emotions. So it is important that we make sure that we are always listening and having those serious conversations with our kids, even if they are difficult conversations to have. Because our children are expressing to us how they feel, they are expressing their emotions to us, and we should not just cast aside what they are feeling, even if we don't necessarily agree with them. Sometimes the child can say something to you that could cause you to have a reflection. And it's always a good thing to reflect and, if needed, redirect so that we can make sure that we are not doing any damage to our children. So, fourth thing that a parent can do when they find themselves struggling with favoritism is to parent with judgment in mind. Parenting with judgment in mind is effective if, in fact, you believe that one day you're going to have to stand in judgment and give an account for everything that you do. I believe that as parents, God gives us kids. He's blessing us with that responsibility. And He's entrusting us to lead and guide and teach our children in the ways that they are needing to be trained. If we misuse the gift that God has given to us, of course, we are going to have to give an account for those things. As parents, we have a responsibility to love each child and ensure that every child is secure. And if that obligation isn't enough for you, remember that one day you will have to give an account for your parenting. I'm Coach Bev, and I'm from Regal Awakening Educational Coaching Services. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Regal Awakening. You're watching the video, so you know where to find me on YouTube. I also have a website, www.regalawakening.com. You can book sessions, ask me questions, reach out for contact, anything that you may need.